Hey guys, welcome back to Fusion360 Tips. In this video we're going to go over our 3D workspace patterns. Now we've talked about patterns in our 2D workspace, but you can also use the pattern tool in the 3D workspace, basically being able to copy solids instead of lines of sketches. So we're going to go over that right now. As we see here, we have already created a box or a cube, and what we're going to do is we're going to go to our create drop down, go to our pattern, and we're going to start with our rectangular pattern. Much like the pattern in our 2D workspace, what we're going to do is we're going to highlight this box, and we want to be sure that bodies is selected. If you were to do a face, that's only whenever you select something, it's going to be one of these surfaces here, and it's a face. Once you extend that out, you'll see the plane, but once you hit OK, it's going to disappear. It's not going to do anything. So you want to be sure that bodies is selected. So when you select the body, the whole thing turns blue. Now once you go to your direction, you want to go to this little area here that is highlighted. This is your origin, so this is where your planes and your axes are located. As you can see, there's a red, green, and blue axis, and for this one we're going to choose our XY axis right here. So, and now as you can see, we can make copies of this cube here. We can go in both ways, and of course, like in the other one, you can do more. You can do more of these cubes, so you can do 5 this way and 3 this way, and just kind of adjust how far apart you want them. Or you could also make these 5 as well, and you can space them according to however far apart you want them. So very neat. You can make them on this plane, you can make them on your Z plane. So that's basically the rectangular pattern. So we'll go to our circular pattern. What we did here is, as you can see, our origins here, we made this little cylinder that is a pin. What we're going to do is we're going to go and do our circular pattern now. So what we want to do once again is highlight make sure this is bodies and not faces. Highlight our pin so it's blue, and then we want to choose our axis. Now here's a better example of our axis right here. So if you wanted to rotate this pin and make multiples of them, it would make a circular pattern this way, and I'll show you this right now. As you can see, it made a pattern going around this axis here. Now what we want to do is make a circular pattern on a different plane. So our axis would be this one because we want it to rotate this way and not that way. So as you can see, we're going to do that, and you can see how that affects how it's going to make that circular pattern. Once again, you can decide how many of these little pins you want to make copies of them. Many of those other things you just kind of got to play with to figure out how they work. So what we're going to do here is I went ahead and made this 3D plate and made a hole in it. So if you wanted to make multiple holes in a pretty quick fashion, it's not the most accurate way to get measurements, but what you would do is you would go to your pattern. We'll do a rectangular pattern. And what you want to do to make a copy of this hole is you would go down to where it says bodies, and you want to do it feature, because a hole is technically considered a feature. So we're going to highlight our hole, and then we're going to go to our direction. We're going to click here, and obviously we want to put our hole along this axis here. So now once we do that, it kind of unlocks this feature to where we can now make copies of the hole that we have created and make multiples of that hole, like so. Once you have it like that, you have now made multiple holes in some rows and columns. Very nice. So for the last thing we're going to do with our last pattern is we're going to make a square, make a spline here, make some curves, and do all sorts of cool stuff here. Okay, enter. We're going to go to our T for trim all that off. Bam. And now we have our sketch here. Now we're going to create a box on our little origin here, and let's make a small box, make it a little taller. Okay, so with this last pattern, this is a pattern on path. So what you'll do, once again, select body, select your box that you want. You're going to select path, and once you do this, you can move your arrow. And now, whenever you move your arrows, you can make copies that follow along this path. Pretty neat. And as always, you can make more of them if you wish. You can make 8 of them, and as you move your arrow around, they will continue to be evenly spaced apart and follow this path that you have outlined here. So that's pretty neat. You can do path direction, so the solid objects follow these paths. And yeah, so that's basically all there is to this pattern tool. Very useful in many instances. So that ends this video. As always, thanks for watching, guys. Be sure to like, comment, share, subscribe if you like these videos. Until next time, thanks for watching.